Hi, I'm Kevin Hunter, host of the Business Forum Show. Every day on our program, we talk to business owners from every walk of life. And of course, there's the best of the best and the worst of the worst, and everything in between. What I want to share with you, a marketing secret known by the best companies out there and deployed in the best marketing programs you've ever seen work. Now, have you ever run a marketing program and wondered why you got little or no response? Have you ever run a marketing program where you got such mixed response that you attracted all kinds of clients that really didn't fit what you were looking for, and a few that did? You might wonder why. Well, the reason is that you failed to properly identify who your ideal client was. Now, for all the buzzwords that are going out there, I'm sure you've heard of unique selling proposition. USP is talked about a lot in marketing circles, but the problem is that USP is commonly deployed without giving proper understanding of who the ideal client is. You can't deploy an effective unique selling proposition when you think that you're selling to everybody, because you're not. So when you understand your ideal client and how this is important, then your unique selling proposition makes perfect sense, and it's very easy to state it in the terms understood by clients that are right for your business. So take out pen and paper. I'm going to share with you a diagram shared with me by my co-host David Ford a couple of years ago, and it's brilliant. You're going to learn a lot about who your marketing program should be targeting.
So on your 8.5 by 11 paper, the first thing you're going to do is draw a vertical line to split the halves left and right. Then you're going to draw another line through the center of the paper to split the halves top to bottom, creating a big plus sign. We're then going to draw arrows on the left margin and on the bottom margin that will say cash on the left and time on the bottom. Then we'll fill in the squares to say time poor in the lower left and cash poor. Then in the lower right, it's going to say time rich as time increases, and again, cash poor. We're still on the lower half of the box. The upper left corner will say time poor and cash rich. The upper right hand corner will read time rich and cash rich. Now, before we get into the discussion as to what types of people fit in what boxes, I want you to understand that your ideal client will either be cash rich or cash poor. To illustrate this, I've drawn a nice thick red line through the middle to help you understand that your ideal client is either one of the boxes above the line or one of the boxes below the line. Now, you also have a secondary client as well, but it's either the client immediately to the left or immediately to the right of the box you've chosen. If your company happens to target cash-rich clients, you'll still get some customers that are cash poor, but you never put your marketing message around cash poor clients. Likewise, if your company targets cash poor clients, like Walmart does, they never target any of their messaging to a cash-rich customer. So now let's talk about who fits in what boxes. In the lower left, if you're looking at time poor and cash poor clients, we're talking about people that are likely to be minimum wage earners and likely to have multiple jobs. They might be a single parent, or a college student, or a senior that volunteers in many different places. It could be a small business person that's in the early years of developing their organization. We could also be talking about a school teacher. In the lower right, in the time-rich, cash-poor sector, we have people that could be on government assistance. It could be a retired senior that lives only on Social Security. It might be a part-time student, might be a retired school teacher, could be teenagers, inner city people, or unemployed people. Now, when I mentioned earlier that smart companies never target their marketing to people above and below the line at the same time, remember that Walmart targets cash-poor clients with every bit of advertising they do. They never worry about target marketing customers in the cash-rich sectors, and of course, a few of them do come to the store. So now let's look at the upper left, the time-poor, cash-rich customers. We're talking about dual-income families with active kids. These could also be established contractors. They could be a doctor, a medical person, lawyers, professional people in the middle class. In the upper right-hand corner, time-rich, cash-rich. A spouse of an executive, affluent single adults without kids, and long-term successful business people. Of course, there's many other examples you could think of in each of these boxes, but perhaps now it makes sense to you that what appeals to a spouse of an executive doesn't necessarily appeal to a part-time student or a teenager. So when you're thinking about your marketing message in your company today, first of all, sit down and identify who is your ideal client. And when you've identified that, don't ever make the mistake of putting any market messaging around anybody else. Always target your ideal client. The next step to this is understanding what makes you unique in your market and make sure that your unique selling proposition is always targeted to this ideal client. I'm Kevin Hunter on the Business Forum Show. Thanks for listening.